Welcome to Dice Control Dojo. I'm Phil, and I'm practicing daily and sharing my tips so that we can all do better at the craps table. Today we're going to talk about stance. We're going to talk about how important your stance is, different types of stances. We're going to review all of parts of your body that needs to be in sync for a proper stance. And then we're going to have a conclusion on how important that is when you're at a casino and what does that look like. So, stance. The foundation of your stability. One of the important parts of throwing dice is to make sure you're stable, that your body is in line and everything is in sync so that when you go to throw, once again, that muscle memory is remembering everything and it all looks the same. Why you have to make sure everything is aligned? When you go to a casino, their rails may be higher. You may not be able to reach over as well as you can at your home table. There's going to be variations. But if you keep your stance the same way each time, then your muscles will be in that synapse with your brain to remember what's going on, so when you're able to throw. So when you're at a casino, you got to, you're going to be at different areas of the casino, different parts. You're going to be throwing at different levels. There's going to be chips everywhere. There's going to be a buddy next to you. There may be a drink underneath the rails. But when you get to step in, that stance should be solid. It should be the same way each time. So let's go over the nitty-gritty of that. Our stance should be with your feet apart at the width of your shoulders. So I'm putting that up on the video right now on how your feet should be aligned underneath your knees and underneath your hips, and it should be a straight shot. So you want to keep the same motion, that it works from the down to all the way up. And there's going to be some concerns. Some people aren't as tall as me, and when your stance or when you're throwing, some people have to lean over, right? So your feet are going to be up. That's okay, but if at all possible, I take yoga, and I found that there's a 3-point stance. So when you put your feet down on the ground, are you evenly distributing all of your weight on your toes, on your feet? So are your toes aligned? Are the outside of your foot carrying some weight? And are your heels carrying the weight? So you have the 3 parts of your feet that should all be evenly distributed. Now, what I do, no matter what table I'm at, I come to the table and I reset. So before the dice, after the dice are thrown, and right before I do, I shake off, I relax, then I come in and make sure everything's aligned. I start with my feet. Are they in the 3-point stance? Can I feel the weight distributed? Yes. Are they underneath? Are my knees bent? Your knees should be a little bent. Your feet should be relaxed. Your hips should be relaxed. Are you centered? Are you using your core? Then, when you grab on to make your balance, is your shoulders straight? Are you lined up nice and straight? I have a mirror here. Every day when I'm looking, I'm making sure my shoulders are even. And what I found with me, when I go to turn, my shoulders are not even when I'm throwing. So I usually put my hand a little bit here. That was a correction my coach taught me to make sure I'm aligned before I throw. So then when I go to throw, when I come center like this, I can look at this mirror right now and I can see if my shoulders are straight. I can feel my feet, that they're aligned. Now, the 3-point stance is when you start, right, in the bent knees. But now when you lean over and you're about to throw, think about your feet right now. Are they even? Are you have the same distribution? Are your knees relaxed? I'm leaning against the rail to where I need to throw. Is my entire body centered? This is very important. This is so yoga. But you have to be completely centered so that when your arm is free to throw, there's nothing changing. None of your body. Everything is nice and set now. So let's talk about that one more time. Practicing your stance. So when I come up in the morning and I'm doing my initial grab to make sure I'm grabbing correctly, that is all about your stance and how you're going to sit on the table. So I come up to each time, whether I'm throwing 35 times, I'm throwing in the morning, or I'm at the casino. I back off a little bit, shake it off, I come up. I center my feet, making sure they're centered. I have the distribution of my weight around my foot evenly. Making sure my toes are on board, because now you're going to lean over. You got to make sure the distribution of your weight is on all 5 of your piggy toes. All right? So we restand, relax. I'm looking at my mirror, make sure I'm centered. Then I'm putting my hand here when I go to reach out. Now, right now I'm thinking, are my feet centered? Yes. Are my knees relaxed? Yes. My hips are nice and straight? Yes. When I grab the dice and I go to center it right here, this center spot right here, I look up and I can see my shoulders are straight. Everything's where it needs to be for that next throw. So then, when the dice are thrown at a casino or here, I'm going to get up and move, get everything back. Now I come back to it. Am I centered? My feet are centered. Am I ready to go? Am I in the same spot I was last time? Now, if you're in SR1, SL1, SL2, SR2, or here, I don't care, but you shouldn't be moving back and forth. So I usually focus on where's the center of my body on this table. This is right at the 11 on this table. So when I go to a casino, I'm picking a spot that my body's going to be aligned. Then I'm leaning over. Are my knees bent? Yes. Am I relaxed? Yes. Centered? Yes. And I'm coming up. Now, when you're looking straight down at that dice, and these dice should be nice and aligned, they should be aligned right in the middle of your body, with your feet being centered. My knees are bent and relaxed. My hips are centered. I'm sitting up nice and straight. I'm looking at there, my shoulders are straight. Everything's together. And then there's a throw. Then you start all over again. So initially in the morning, my morning warm-up of grabbing the dice is going to be a lot about my stance. Then it's about setting the dice quickly, so make sure we're not holding up the casino. But if anything screws up when you're throwing, just back out, relax, and reset so that you're centered, you're aligned, and you're relaxed. So that all you're doing is going to concentrate on that large muscle mass that's going to be throwing that dice. So see, I'm looking, everything's in cahoots, and I'm in a good zone. Oh, look at that. That was a beautiful throw. So what did we learn today? We learned about the 3-point stance with your feet. We want to make sure your toes and your feet and your knees and your hips are all aligned with your body. We want to make sure your shoulders are centered and you're centered on a spot on the craps table that you're throwing the same place every time. Cut out those risks a little bit. And you're making sure you do this every time so that you can eliminate that part of your game for the variable when you're throwing the dice at the casino. Tomorrow, we're going to go over my talent is overrated presentation that I created for my work. and how important it was that changed craps for me forever. And I hope you tune in tomorrow. So remember, the best betting system is to throw for a long, long time.